Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, the artist behind Bigelow Fine Arts. How did the last coloring session go? I'm going to make a push to finish up the rest of the leaves. This will put the rabbits and owl in the next video and the background in the final video. I added in chapter breaks to make it easier to find things later since I am jumping around a little. I am beginning with the red palette and working on these two spade-shaped leaves. They will work up similar to the three-lobed leaves, starting with a light base of deep red. I'll trace in the rib lines with the red violet, making it look like the leaf is creased at that point. I use the dark red to bring in the shadow element around the ribs. With the deep red, I am going back in and adding another layer to the edges to help blend the current layers more. More red violet to deepen the shadows along the rib and deepen the ribs. Finally, I go back in with the deep red and dark red to add more layers and refine. I'll work up the other leaf the same way. The three leaves to the side, I decided to work them up with the grass colors. I laid in a base with the light green. With the pine green, I added in a shadow along the center rib and blended the layers with the permanent green. I'll touch up the shadow and blending to get the leaf where I want before beginning with the other two leaves. And that finishes off this small tree. Now onto the last few leaves on the big tree. The leaves with the tiny wedge at the bottom are going to be colored up like the large leaves on the bottom. I used the same orange from the rainbow shard to fill in the small wedge. I think the red would have worked really well here too, playing off the red in the nearby leaves. Moving on to the rest of the leaf, I began with a light base of the leaf green over the whole leaf. I darkened up the center rib with the pine green, adding in a light shadow layer around it. I went back and forth to build up the layers and refine the shadow. This is a pretty simple leaf with just the two colors and a little pop of orange. I worked up the second leaf the same way, using the pine green on the curl for the dark under leaf color. The last 3 leaves for this side. I decided I would use the ivy green palette for this since they resembled the other ivy leaves nearby. I started with the light green on the tips, going down about 1/3 of the way. The curl under the leaf is filled in with a couple of layers of the pine green and the phthalo green blended together. With a light hand, I used the cobalt green at the base and blended the center together with the phthalo green. Once I have my light layers in place, I go back and add more layers, blending and refining the colors in a smooth gradient, trying to avoid harsh lines. Make sure you let me know how your coloring is going and if you've been following along. There are only 2 more videos after this. I'm looking forward to working on the owl. If you have any questions, please leave them below or on the Patreon post linking this video. Down in the show notes, I have added in the chapter breaks as well as a list of equipment I have or will be using. And thank you everyone for coming along and joining in with me on this coloring journey. I appreciate all my subscribers and look forward to more of you joining in and coloring along with me. That will only happen if you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, happy coloring!